I don't know if this is intentional, but I've seen scrolling through your catalog, a lot of the stuff has like dogs in it. I felt like, is that on
Yeah,
purpose?
that's on purpose because I really love dogs. I can't have one at the moment, and I'm very sad about that, but I really love dogs.
Hey everybody, welcome back to
All
the
right.
Jesse Nyberg podcast. Today we have on Caroline, super cool designer that I found through Instagram and over in Elliot's Discord and whatnot, and super excited to talk to her. So let's get into it. How's it going?
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm very good. How about you?
Pretty good. What time is it over there for you?
It is almost 9 p.m.
Oh, okay. And you're in Germany, right?
Yes, Central Germany, Central Europe in Germany. Yes.
Yeah. Is that where you go to school at?
Yes, exactly.
But right now it's all online or what?
Yeah, it's all online. I've only seen my uni once. I went last year, but the past semester has been online and this semester as well, which kind of sucks, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Are you still like I guess on track to like go back, or are you already gonna finish, do you think, by the time like they open
I don't
up or
know.
whatever?
The thing is, I only started studying last year, and people always get surprised when I tell them that because I turned 22 around the time I started. But some things sort of got in the way, so I couldn't really study any earlier. But so far, it's been okay. And I think I'm definitely going to finish my studies where I'm currently studying.
Yeah, that's cool. And over there it's like is it the same as the US, I guess, where it's like 4 years usually around?
Yeah, the thing is, we don't really have a set time because I know a guy that has been studying. He's in his 14th semester, which means he's been studying for like 10 years or whatever. And he's still undergrad. But yeah, roughly it's like 3.5 to 4 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like over here it seems like you never know. Like some people finish like right away 4 years, and I had some people when I was in college like there for like 6 years or whatever, like depending on
Yeah,
whatever their situation was.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
I've met some of these people too, but I talked to the guy before and he explained that he just really enjoys studying because the courses, they're so much fun to him and he's gonna miss being at uni when he graduates, so
yeah.
he's gonna drag it out as much as he can.
Yeah, when I graduated, I remember thinking, in college or uni, when I was there, I remember having like stressful times or being like worried about some of this work. And then I realized once I graduated and started working more that it's really easy, and it's like some of the more chill times that you're going to have. Like, like I feel like a lot of older people say like, oh, it only gets harder or whatever. And you just tell them like, yeah, whatever. Like, that's just what you say, but they're right.
The thing is, the German school system is a bit weird, so I kind of have to go into that to explain more why I'm at uni and stuff. So, I got a high school degree, and after that, I went to a college and did media design there for 3 years. And when I said that I would go to uni, most of my teachers were like, "Oh my God, you're so lazy. How are you gonna survive there? Like uni is so hard." And uni has been the most relaxing but fun experience I've ever had in my life. It's so much fun, but it's also not stressful at all, which I'm very glad about.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in high school, they would always, I kind of got in trouble a lot for like talking and like always kind of not paying attention in class, because even though I would do all the work, but I was kind of like a smart ass in that way. And the teacher would always say something like, they're not going to go this easy on you in college, or like, you better get ready for college because if you're not listening, they're just going to skip right over you. And I remember being in college and everyone was so much like more chill and they didn't even get mad at you or anything because it was just more like, you're paying for it, so do whatever you want.
Like uni is so much more relaxed. I honestly didn't expect it because my teachers made it sound so scary in college.
Yeah.
But honestly, uni is just so much fun. Like I really don't regret going there at all, even if it's kind of annoying to do it from home with COVID and all, but it's fun still.
So when you say college, I think it might just be like a term thing that we're differing on, like from Germany to here. So uni is like, I think what I'm describing as college. And then what are you saying is college, like high school that I'm saying? Or you went to two
Yeah, it's
different.
kind of like it's kind of like a continuation of high school, but with more of a focus, I guess,
Okay.
on the subject. And in my case, that was media design.
So when you were in like the media design, how old were you?
I think I started that at 16 or something. Yeah.
Okay.
I took a gap year, but then, yeah, I was 16, I think.
Yeah, I've
And I
heard about stuff like
graduated
that.
at,
That's cool.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I'm not really sure because it's been a while.
yeah, yeah, all the time kind of blurs and everything. That's
Yeah, I'm just like, whoa,
I always wondered
whoa.
because in Germany I feel like that's really cool. I wish we had a system like that. Like even when you're in high school, like
Mm,
16, 17, you get to already like get a focused thing. Over here it's like
yeah.
you're still just doing math and English and history or whatever, like all the way till you're 18. And if you don't go to like what yours would be uni, then you don't get to ever like focus on one thing. So it's like it's cool they do it earlier because you get to figure out what you like, not just like the same old bullshit.
Mm. Yeah, the thing is, I did it a bit differently than some of my friends in uni did it because I chose to go to college with a focus on design, but some of my friends, they graduated a bit later than me, but they didn't have a focus on design or something, and they just went straight into uni,
Mm,
and some of them are completely overwhelmed, but they're settling.
yeah,
So I guess I'm just a bit more relaxed because I already kind of know how it's going,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, and that's comforting to because you probably feel like a lot more like at ease and confident in some of this work because you already knew like you like design. A lot of people, the stress comes from doing all this work and trying to still figure out like what they even want to do. Had some friends in college.
Yeah.
We were already on like our third year and they were still like switching like majors and stuff and like trying to figure out what they like. I was like, I switched a little bit my first year, but I was grateful to be like where I liked design from the beginning for the most part and saw it all the way through.
Because I watched the episode you did with Cal Lauren, and I've been
Mm.
watching them for a while, and I thought it was really interesting that they started out with fashion design because the way they do graphic design just makes so much sense. And to think that they would have almost graduated as a fashion designer is so strange, but it makes sense in the end. Like graphic design just makes sense in their kind of special case. Like
Yep.
for some people, I guess it just takes a while to find their path, and that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Like how you said it kind of all connects because they do a lot of merch design. So it's almost like a mixture of graphic and fashion design in a sense. So did you learn, like, I really like the way that you use type in like your posters, and I think you have like a strong grasp of layout and type, and like you just have a style that I think a lot of people like. And I was wondering, did you learn a lot of that stuff in uni, or is this like project that you do, the daily posters, what taught you kind of all these skills?
I learned quite a bit in college, but I don't know, for the most part, I would consider myself to be self-taught because I
Mm,
started doing graphic design when I was like 15 or 14 with like a cracked version of Photoshop I got from Tumblr or something.
yeah.
And so I kind of pretty much just followed all the tutorials, made extremely bad K-pop graphics, and I kind of
Yeah.
just learned from there. Like it's been a process. But it kind of started developing more into the direction that I'm now when I researched for my uni portfolio. We had to do a specific portfolio for the uni I applied at.
Hmm.
And I kind of just wanted to do something music related because I'm really into the whole like gothic rock kind of thing. And I wanted
Yeah.
to pick up on that. And so that's kind of how the really gritty style I have now evolved. It all evolved pretty much from experimentation, from doing a lot of research on how media looked in the 80s, for example, when they still did fanzines that were made in like copy shops in a day or something like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of just really like that.
Yeah, your style definitely has the look of where they used to be printing Xerox on the colored like construction paper rather than flooding like the background with ink, you know? And we used to, some
Yeah.
of my friends that in college, they did this thing called, they do this stuff called like Perfect Dark, which is like a house music like collective. And they would print the designs on the Xerox on the colored paper, and the blacks always looked so nice compared to like a normal inkjet printer or whatever.
It does look really good.
Yeah.
Like, we had a copy shop for a while, and there were like people that were like, I don't know, they were, I'm not trying to sound insulting or anything, but they were a bit older. So they had me run off the copy machine and like scale out some graphics they had and like cut up a piece of paper with like a font on it and stick that on there. And that's how they made posters or something for their local events or something.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even that long ago. That was like 2016. It was always pretty cool that you could do design still in such a rather analog way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think it looks really cool. I don't know, it don't sound like pretentious because for me, it has a bit more soul than just like doing something in Word and printing that out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. My professor, I've told this before, but he said the only thing you needed to be a designer when I was growing up was an X-Acto knife and like some construction paper. And he said that they would make crazy posters just cutting out shapes and like hand setting type. Either they cut it out or they would use like letterpress, which I think is like something super cool that I want to get into. But a lot of those analog not strategies, analog like mediums, they're becoming a lot more expensive to use. So like if you just want to experiment and you don't know what you're doing, it's pretty expensive to just try to do like letterpress or like some different like screen printing and stuff, because you need all the gear or you need a place that will allow you to use their stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why I sort of learned how to do it. I used to try to get it done with my dad's inkjet printer. But I realized, oh no, it doesn't come out the way that the big Xerox machine at my previous workplace had it.
Yeah.
But I feel like I came pretty close to how it looked in the past because I just really love how it looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's awesome. And what made you want to do the poster like every day type of thing?
That was a fun story. I talked about it with my friend. I talked to her about it when the first lockdown started, like March last year, I think it was. And I was like, oh my God, I've been following these people like Roy Cranston or Travis Kane for such a long time. And they did all these awesome posters like every day. And I was just so impressed. And I kind of just wanted to see if I could do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just did it. Like I went in there having absolutely no knowledge of how Instagram works, how the Instagram design works. Like I have absolutely no knowledge of that, and it all kind of came with time. Like I was just starting out, like trying out tutorials. The Lewis Moss did, the guy that does City Solar Club, and I kind of just got addicted to like recreating them.
The ink bleed.
And yeah, that's kind of. Yeah, oh my God, that was such a game changer. It was an entire game changer for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a super cool dude. I'm about to talk to him in probably like about a month on here. He has like,
oh, that's awesome.
Him and that dude Tom from Dread Labs I referenced, and then Kel as well, are some of my biggest inspirations when it comes to creating like video content, like YouTube and stuff like that. Because before I discovered them, everything on YouTube that was designed was just very like traditional, like tutorials that it seemed like were all made like by Adobe. Like they were just so clean, and like the people presenting them, that you didn't really come for them. Like you weren't feeling that they were making it. It just felt like an AI generated like tutorial or something. So they gave me inspiration to add flavor to it like that. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was surprised when I saw the tutorials that Lewis Moss did, because they were like really contemporary in a way. Like they weren't like these basic Adobe tutorials that you mentioned, but they were like really cool stuff that is actually very easy to do. Like stuff like the bitmap effect that blew up over the past 6 months or something.
Yeah.
And also the ink bleed tutorial, like you love stuff with these techniques. Like you don't have to follow them exactly, but you can still with them. And it's really cool that he shares how to do it in such a easy way.
Yeah. Yeah, what's crazy about the ink bleed stuff specifically is like I can't even count how many times I've seen someone make like a reel about that now. You know, it's probably like 30 reels and TikToks I've seen, and I'm just like, yeah, I get it, you want to grow, but why do you want to just someone already made this. You should just be giving them the love and directing people to it, you know, not trying to, it's not like he invented that or anything, but I feel like it's like I try to have like a common respect for other creators and not try to act like I'm oblivious to like those other things already existing, you know?
Yeah, I get a lot of questions about how to do the ink bleed effect because I started doing reels and I kind of love one. So I got a lot of questions on like every post I get asked, can you show me how to do the ink bleed effect? And I always lead people back to the Lewis Moss tutorial because he explains it way better than I ever could. And his tutorial is enough. And I'm sticking with that opinion.
Yeah, that's good.
Because it's just so easy to follow.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of that, the reels, I saw you kind of talking on Instagram, kind of plotting and saying like, yeah, I'm going to make some soon, like just wait. And I was curious to see what was going to happen because I knew that you did like that story in the past kind of about your strategy. And I remember following it one time to do something for like a poster I made with the like stippling, the graphic pen and all that. And then, I was like, this is probably going to be big. Like, I guarantee, like, I was thinking she's probably going to get at least like 100,000 or something. And then I remember you making it and it picked up, and then I just saw it like blow up and I was like, yep, I knew that was going to happen because everyone's going to want to replicate that effect. You've definitely, like, once you solidify a style online, which is like hard to do in the first place, people want to know how to do it because it feels like it's like a magic, you know, or secret or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like in the beginning, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do a tutorial on it because I was like, yeah, that's my style and I don't really want people to copy it. But then I started to think about it more like, what the fuck, I got this tutorial I read online or something, like, why should I not share how to do it? So I did, and I have to admit I did it out of convenience because I got so many questions on how to do it and I used to type it out every single time how to do it.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, okay, when people ask, I can just send that to them and I don't have to type anything anymore. And I think when I last checked it, it was at like 300,000 views or something.
Yeah.
And that was pretty wild. Like my Photoshop interface is all in German. Like I didn't even think of it to English because I didn't think it would like blow up that much. And I got so many questions like, oh my God, like, why is your Photoshop not in English? Like, what kind of language are you speaking? And I was just like, I don't know. I didn't think it meant so many people that.
That's so funny because I remember seeing it too and thinking like, I wonder if people are is that gonna be like a barrier? But everything's still in the same like order. So you just kind of like go off, like kind of count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and see like how far it is on the drop down menu. But that's cool. Like, I think that it's cool that designers now, especially, like, I feel like we've all in the maybe 25 to like 28 and below, we've kind of became a lot more giving and like non-gatekeepy with like just design and techniques. And like people have realized that you don't have to like keep something secret. It's not like just because you show someone how to do something, it doesn't mean like they're going to steal all your clients and you're not going to be you anymore. You know, people are still going to come to you for you if they want your work. It's if they're going to someone else because they do the same thing as you, then they didn't really want it in the first place. They just wanted someone that could copy that style or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was kind of scared of people doing that in the beginning, but then I realized like they won't probably ever do that because my style is it's gotten pretty experimental since I did it. Like it's not only just like the fake photocopy, like I want to be making punk scenes kind of thing, but you know, it's kind of gotten a bit weirder. So I was like, nobody's gonna copy that. Like maybe people can just do whatever they want. And it's been pretty cool to see what people have been doing with it. I've gotten tagged in a lot of posts and it was just really awesome to see how people use that effect in ways that I would have never think of, to be honest.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I didn't even come up with it. I just explained how to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And your stuff, like, I feel like, you know, with the stamp effect and like the whole page is very like cohesive. I was trying to look back kind of as far as I could. And it doesn't seem like there's that much before when you started doing that. So when did that actually happen? Like maybe like 30 or 20 into like the daily? Is that when you kind of started doing that?
I think I started doing it a bit earlier on. Like I think in my first week when I started Polling Alien, I was just like, oh, I'm not gonna overdo it. Like this effect is so easy to use, so I'm trying to not slap it on everything, and gonna try to use more. But then I kind of realized that I had more fun, like doing the whole fake photocopied kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to see how far I could push it, like how far I could go with it. So yeah, that was kind of how it started. Like in the beginning, I was trying to not use it too much, but now it's like everything.
Yeah, but it's hard to not want to use something when you like it. It has like kind of, and it's almost like infinitely scalable, and also people are liking it too. So it's like, you know, like don't fix it if it isn't broken type of thing. And then it's obviously worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Like it's a win-win thing.
What was that?
It's a win-win kind of situation because I like what I'm doing and people on Instagram like what I'm doing. Yeah. So that's even better.
Definitely. I think you said it a little bit earlier, but I wasn't entirely clear. How did you come across like that specific strategy in the filter gallery? Like it seems like something kind of random to come across like that.
I have to go back a little bit because I was doing my uni portfolio, and because I didn't have like access to the whole Xerox machines and stuff, I was trying to find out how to do it as close to the original as I could. Mm-hmm. And I was just like reading tutorial after tutorial after tutorial. And then I came across one, I don't even know where it was from. It was on some random website and it was a video on there explaining how to do it. And I tried it out for myself and I was like, oh my God, why aren't more people using that effect? It looks so good. Like, why didn't this blow up on Design instead like before or something? I don't know. Yeah. People just weren't using it, I guess.
Yeah, because it's almost like at first glance it can be kind of equated to like a threshold or something of that sorts, but it's a lot more like it's almost like less detailed, but it's more detailed in the way that there's way more points, but it's also there's a lot more negative space than you would get from like flooding an area with like black. It's almost like a the Xerox like scan, but it also reminds me of like stippling, like with just like traditional like a micron pen and just going in and tapping in all the details.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting effect because like like when you zoom in you can see like all the dots, but once you zoom out you see like a cohesive image, and I think that's a very interesting effect and most people don't really notice that at first glance, but I think it's a very cool effect because you can create like a bit more shading and depth than you could if you just use like threshold or like a simple ripped edge filter or something like that.
Yeah,
I just
definitely.
like that it gives a bit more detail.
Yeah, that makes sense, and it also helps. It is a weird like science to it where like the more you zoom out of it, it's almost like the more realistic it looks because it starts to all blend together and look more like a normal photo. I remember using like your strategy working on a poster, and you put it on like the background for Instagram because I didn't make it in the right like dimension, so I had to put it on like the black background style. And then I remember zooming it out and it looked way different. It's like how it is with like bit mapping. Like once you get too far out, it looks like there's not even an effect on it almost.
And I personally really like that because from far, like on your Instagram feed, like when you just see it on the explore page, it kind of just seems like one big blob. But if you click on the post and you scroll through, a person uploaded a detailed picture as well, you can really see how detailed it is. And I personally really like that. Like, I think it gives a very cool effect.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a surprise. Like you get more than what you thought you were getting into when you first clicked through. Do you have a lot of people coming like have you gotten a lot of client inquiries for that specific look so far? Or I would think that you would.
Not really any that were particularly serious.
Yeah, I mean, it's still Instagram.
Just people trying to get the job done on something, and most of the time I say no to that. because I don't know, stuff like lowballing is a big thing on Instagram. Like, I don't think personally my rates are that high, but I quote people my rates, and then they would go, oh, but I know a guy that does it for like $160. And then I'm just like, okay, tell me that.
Yeah, the worst like the worst thing to ever be said is that like I know this person or my cousin or my brother said it's cost this much, and it's like, then go have your fucking that guy do it, you know? Why are you even talking to me if you already had that figured out, you know? Like if you're I hate when like I try not to get like pessimistic about it, and like I want to have a positive like non-toxic relationship between like designers and clients, but some people like I don't think they're doing it intentionally, but it's so rude to say like, oh, I want this, and then you give them like a rate, and they're just like they get like weird, like they'll get like offended, like, well, whatever, like it's not even worth that much anyway or something. And it's like that's so mean, you know? If you really want it, it shouldn't be
that's
like
really
about
mean.
it. But that's like the most stuff
that's
you're
really
getting.
mean, actually. Yeah, like most of the time it's just DMs of like, I don't know. Most of the time I have the feeling that people don't even know what they're asking for. It's always
Yeah.
like, what's your quote for a t-shirt? But then I have to know, like, is it just for yourself? Are you trying to sell it through your shop? And then when I'm trying to begin to find out exactly what the person is wanting to do with the design I'm supposed to create for them, I usually get ghosted. And I can't even quote them a price. Like, I would love to work with more people, but when I try to dig in and find out what they want, like usually I don't even get a response to that. And that's pretty frustrating. So I don't know. I'm trying to stay away from doing commissions and just focus on uni and trying to keep up with what's going on Instagram at the moment.
Yeah. And it's probably healthier, like if you're not worried about growing like freelance right now or anything, like you don't really need to bother entertaining all those DMs and stuff. I thought of something when you were saying they don't know what they want. And what I usually do, if I get an inquiry to see if it's like serious or not on Instagram, I tell them, I need to know this. This is blah, 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 like whatever I tell them. And I say, email me the information about the project. And then if they can even have enough like effort to go to another, you know, like app and type in the stuff in an email, then even something that small makes me know that they're more serious about it. So either they won't email me or they will. And then I know I have my answer either way. Either they're serious or they're not. And once they're in the email, it's like a 80% like success rate. From Instagram, it's like an 80% not going to happen failure rate, you know?
Yeah. Like the stuff I get sent on via DM on Instagram has been so weird. Like I really appreciate asking me if I could design album covers for them, but it gets weird when they ask for my phone number so they can send me the track via WhatsApp. And I usually just completely say no to that and just like, sorry, I'm not doing commissions. Please don't. Fine.
That's funny. So speaking of like you've been doing this stuff every day, and obviously like I've seen you kind of have a nice like exponential growth on Instagram. And it's well deserved, because I think creating a poster every day is like a challenging task, especially while you're going to school and doing other things. How do you like stay inspired to do this every day without either getting burnt out or just like not enjoying it at some point?
The thing is, it comes in waves. I don't know. I'm kind of addicted to designing, as bad as it sounds, but I just can't go a day without not making a poster or like create something. And I've just been doing it for so long that when I think about ending the project like tomorrow or something, like it would feel like weird. And it even feels weird thinking about ending it in like 3 months. That's when I'm supposed to be finished. And I don't know, like I had a bit of a burnout phase like earlier this year, because I know when like my final submissions for uni, they started piling up, and I was just like, oh my God, all these people want stuff from me. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now. And that's been a bit hard on my mental health. So I had to take a 2-day break actually. And that felt pretty good. And I came back feeling pretty refreshed and like ready to take on the rest of the project. But yeah, I don't know. I guess just having a it really helped me. Like I have a set time for each day when I'm just gonna sit down like 2 hours. That's my time frame, and I'm just gonna do something.
Mm-hmm.
How far I can take that.
How when do you usually work on that stuff? Is it like do you try to get it done before other responsibilities, or do you do it later in the day?
I'm mostly try to get it done like later in the day. Like my posting time is usually around 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to start at around like 3 to 4 p.m. depending on what I have to do that day.
Yeah.
Like when I don't have classes at the time, like I can just do that and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. What I thought would be cool, because you're planning on finishing like after the full year, right? Or do you plan on continuing it?
No, I don't know yet, honestly.
You gotta see how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to go how I feel. Like that's kind of the thing I love about posting daily, because I have so much like flexibility in what I can do.
Yeah.
And I kind of just want to keep that flexibility to my Instagram account as a whole. Like I can just, I don't know, I just want to have the space where I can just do like whatever I want, and people just have to deal with the fact that I'm uploading it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really like that. But I'm just gonna see how I feel, honestly. Like I can't know how the future is gonna look at this point.
Well, have you ever considered like doing, I don't know if you have, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, but have you considered doing like prints or anything like that?
I had like an in-print print shop, but I quickly realized that this isn't the right thing to do because of like COVID thing with the US Postal Service and stuff like that. And it's not working that well with like international shipping. So I've been trying to figure out how to do it in a way that's like okay for all the people that live in Europe and stuff. But the imprint thing, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I want to sell actual prints in the future, but I just do not know in which capacity at this point.
Yeah. And it's always like, I spoke about this with my last guest, and like those sites are like accessible, and I think that they work for a lot of types of different creators. But as a designer, I feel like you want like the quality control of printing yourself, and like not having to worry about, like that stuff's easy because there's no risk. They print as you make them. But if you know, then you can kind of gauge that people are going to want them. You're able to, print 10 or 50 or 100 and know that they'll all be sold, and you can sign them yourself and send them out and actually know what it looks like, especially when you're doing this like such specific style. You don't want it to come off like weird and be like glossy or have like a weird border or anything like that.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of what I realized about InPrint, because they sell the glossy prints with borders, and it doesn't work that well with my style. So I've been trying to figure out how to do it. And also a thing I really like is like putting little gifts in for the people that are something, because the prices are going to be high because I do all the quality control. Like I'm very annoying in that sense because I come sort of from a printing background. So I kind of know how a poster should look and feel, and especially with the like very specific thing that I do. But also I just think it's neat to give people a little thank you, some candy or like some stickers or something. And that's something you don't have with these on-demand platforms, but something you can do if you go with the do-it-yourself kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with your style, it would be cool to figure out the palette of all the colors that you use and actually get that paper and then isolate the black on the file and then just print it on there, like as the way that what you're trying to replicate,
Yeah, oh my God, that would look so sick. I really got to get into that at some point, but right now it's just pretty tough with everything being closed, with another lockdown coming up locally, and yeah, it's all going a bit slower than I would like it to be.
Yeah. One thing I thought that would be really cool that you could do is if you don't want to bother like choosing which things to print or trying to figure out like what's like what people want, it would be cool if you compiled the entire like daily designs all into like a book, and then just sold that like a big photo book, and like you can do it like with the cool backgrounds and everything, like black background, or there's this book called like Fucked Up and Photocopied, or something like that. And it's like all these old punk posters and stuff. And they do it like that. Like it's just scanned in like flyers from like the LA punk scene and like UK and everything. And I was thinking like, if you did a cool layout like that with your stuff, like not only just have each poster be clean on the page, but have like everything around it feel like in that vibe, I think it could be really cool.
That would honestly be awesome. And I just kind of sent it out into the universe that I really wanted to have my whole project be compiled into a book, because I saw another German artist do that recently. Like he published like a big book with like special colored pages and everything. It was like really fancy and everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, how am I going to get to that stage?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that it would, you can also, go on Instagram and see like, try to gauge interest beforehand, so like if it's gonna work out, or if you could just print less, even if you get one for yourself. I think it'll feel good to get all that hard work put into something that you can actually feel.
Yeah, exactly, because my style especially has like such an analog feel to it. Like it would be weird if I didn't do something like actually analog with it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah.
How do you
So yeah, a book has definitely been something I think about.
Yeah, let me know if you do it, because I'll get one, even though it's gonna probably cost like $50 from Germany. I'm super down because I like your work.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna see if that's possible.
Cool. What kind of one thing I wanted to ask you, we were speaking a little bit beforehand about like MGMT and stuff, and I think you have a very, like, your style seems to stem like heavily from like a lot of music and like the punk zines and like kind of like a post-punk style. And I was wondering like, what kind of music do you listen to mostly, and how does that kind of influence the way you design and some of the elements and wording and stuff?
Oh, yeah, I listen to a lot of post-punk actually. Like, I listen to so much music, but most of it is like in the post-punk genre. I really love bands like the Chameleons. I like listening to The Cure a lot.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just what's been on my Spotify most played playlist. And
yeah,
I guess that sort of influenced my work as well. Like, I have a lot of posters like themed for like gothic bands. Like I did ones for Sisters of Mercy, for example, which is like the most goth band imaginable, even if the singer says they aren't goth. But I'm just gonna say they are. So, do me. But yeah, that's sort of what I listen to most of the time. I guess right now my Instagram profile is more like a visualized playlist because I do so many music posters at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I've seen you have like some definitely like nostalgic and things that remind me like a lot of that post-punk music, like this shit's just cool. And I think that you captures a lot of that style into like just like the cool heavy bass lines and like the grunge like aesthetic of the entire scene. And it's cool to see like no, I guess, offense or anything to like everyone's doing their own thing and everyone like is trying to figure out what they're doing. But I like when I see something that I don't see like exclusive like all the time in my feed. Like when I see your work, it feels like you've done a great job of, I guess this is a long way of saying you've done a great job of solidifying a style, right? I see your work and I know, oh, that's Carolyn's like poster. I don't even have to look at the description or any of that stuff, you know?
Oh, thank you. That's very nice to hear. And the whole post-punk thing, I have to give a bit of credit to my dad, because my dad was like a full-on goth in the 90s and something. So that's the music I grew up listening to. And yeah, I'm just kind of trying to pay homage to it, like trying to get as close to the 80s and 90s style as I could. And my dad said I come pretty close to that, so I'm just going to trust his word. So I'm always happy to hear when people like what I do.
Yeah. And that's funny. Like, that's cool that he kind of said, like, he vouched for it. And it's interesting when people have their parents, like, what music, it seems like they either really enjoy it and respect it and it kind of shapes like a lot of their interests, or they completely reject like the type of music that their parents like and they go onto the opposite side of the spectrum, you know?
Yeah, but For me, I don't know. I guess bands like the Chameleons. My dad used to listen to the Chameleons a lot, and I don't know, like subliminally that manifested itself to my most favorite band. And yeah, I've did a lot of posters for them because I just really like the band, and it just feels really nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, it gives like a warm, comfortable feeling. Like, yes, that's a great album that I like.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Do you when you're figuring out the design and like what you're gonna do for one of these posts, do you start with the what it's gonna say, or the color, or the elements that are gonna go in it? It seems like the type drives some of like the concept heavily when I look at some of them.
Yeah, like I really enjoy working with typography. I didn't love it as much when I was in college, but once I realized the things you can do with type, the whole text manipulation thing, like you can make type wavy and stuff like that. You can stretch it, you can
Yeah.
like make it smaller, you can do all kinds of things with type. And that's just something I really enjoy doing. And yeah, most of the time, I don't know, I either listen to like a song and I pick up a line I really like and then try to put that into like a whole like typographic kind of poster. Sometimes it's just a song title, and sometimes it's just something I overheard when I was like watching television or YouTube or something. And
Yeah.
that's kind of just how I try to translate the type, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Yeah, because it's. I also noticed. I don't know if this is intentional, but a lot of I've seen scrolling through your catalog. A lot of the stuff has like dogs in it. I felt like, is that on
Yeah,
purpose?
that's on purpose because I really love dogs. I can't have one at the moment, and I'm very sad about that, but I really love dogs.
Yeah, it's just funny to see because you'll look through some of these more like dark and like imagery, and you'll have like kind of like abstract like women and like different figures that look like they're shadows and things, and you'll just see like a little dog pop up on like one of them, and it's all happy.
Yeah, like I did one with like a Shiba Inu dog, and I put that into a little heart, and I was kind of just scrolling through one of these like stock sites where I get my pictures from, and
Mm-hmm.
I saw the image of the little Shiba Inu, and I was like, "Oh my God, you are so cute! I'm gonna make you into a poster." And that's
Yeah.
kind of how I did that poster. And it's kind of ironic, like as you said, like a lot of my work is like rather dark. So I don't know if it's intentional or not. I'm trying to break it up at times, but I don't know. I guess I just don't want to have my sense of humor be lost in like all the sort of like really dark, almost depressing stuff that I do. Like it's just here to remind you, like, hey, everything's fine. Here's a little dog looking at you. All
Yeah.
is well.
It's also like a nice little splash of juxtaposition in the whole sense of everything. And I like that you said
Yeah.
your sense of humor, because at first glance you see all the stuff and it can be like more dark, or like what, eerie maybe is like a good word. But then you look at like that with combination of some of the smaller type and also like what you write in the description, and that like contrast and like juxtaposition as well is like pretty funny to see, because it'll be like something real serious and kind of morbid, and then the description will be you like talking about like something that's like some insecurity or like something funny, and it's just like it helps, even though you're not on your page like in your face and stuff, it helps add like your personality to it.
Yeah, like exactly. Like I tried to be like a bit more serious and like not add captions, but then I realized like I guess people really like reading those captions because sometimes the comments I get on my posts, they aren't even about the poster I made, but about the caption I wrote.
Yeah.
So I just kind of continue to write like funny little captions or something. At least I think they're funny. Like yesterday, I posted something where I used my favorite font Arial again, and I was remembering that in college teacher always used to say that my posters that I submitted that they were like fucking ugly. But then I remembered like at least I have a following on Instagram that looks at my posters. And I thought that was funny enough to add that into my caption.
Yeah.
She doesn't even know I have Instagram, but I just thought it was kind of funny to add.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like I'm glad that you're not like that doesn't like I guess affect you negatively, like the professors and stuff, because I spoke with some of the kids at my college that I went to, is like AIGA club, like their design club. They were asking me questions and stuff. It was like a Zoom thing, and I was telling them, because I know the professors, like they know what they're talking about and they know a lot, and I really respect them for the things they taught me, but take it all with like a grain of salt as well. Like some of my most successful client projects, and as well as like personal things that everyone liked, they were just like, this is too like not traditional, or like this is like, you're not supposed to do this, like you shouldn't put that like type that way. And it's like, says who, you know, just because that's what someone told you at some point. It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like you have so many options of what you can do with design. Like you can put it in like an ironic context, or you can try like a specific kind of style and break that up and make something completely new out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. And yeah, like professors know what they're talking about, of course, but yeah, I guess this is still something you can't really discuss because you probably have a different taste in fonts than I have. So it's not really an objective thing to talk about, and something that you shouldn't take as seriously. Like you can, of course, listen to your professor's feedback. Like you should probably listen to it, but don't just give up your dream of being a graphic designer because your professor doesn't like what you do. Like you're probably gonna come across people that do appreciate and like what you do. Like it's just a thing with taste, I guess.
Yeah, and it's true, because like some of the people that are like the biggest on in like our generation, or whatever you want to call it, I think that my professors would like tear their shit up, you know, but obviously everyone likes it. So
yeah,
and once you know the rules, you can break them however you want, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Like exactly as I said, like once you know the rules, you can break them, you can play with them, you can set up new rules for yourself. Like it's all very cool. Just have fun with it. And yeah, like graphic design, I guess it's being treated as a very serious thing, but it's only serious if you make it serious. Like you can, of course, have fun with it. As you see on accounts, like Elliot is a cool guy. Like he does these pretty much well-designed memes, like very well-designed memes, and people are looking at that. And it's so bizarre to me when I think about that. In the beginning, he wouldn't be hired because he has no experience doing graphic design. Like he's obviously a very talented guy, and I guess graphic design is becoming more non-traditional, and I really enjoy seeing that because, especially in Germany, it always has this sort of like elitist kind of vibe to it because, you know, like Bauhaus was in Germany, like the Germans did like all the cool innovative stuff like the Swiss people did. So the graphic design scene here is a bit more serious, I guess. So that's always kind of why I look more to like what American and international people like Elliot are doing, because it's so wild, so much fun, and there's just so much experimentation involved with it, and that inspires me more than what a lot of like big German graphic designers are doing. So yeah.
That's like that's wild to hear, because hearing you explain it makes sense in the context of us talking about experimentation and stuff. But I remember when I was in school and learning stuff and just like all the history of design, I was always like, man, like America is fucking whack. Like all the cool shits in like Switzerland and Germany, and like they cared about, I always appreciated Europe, because even since the beginning of like design, they actually put it to like the forefront, and even in like advertising and wayfinding and signage and like the environment, everything was designed well. Like it took till like the like 80s, and then like after all the postmodernism stuff in the 90s here, for people to realize like simplicity and like just like, you know, when we were first doing ads like in the US, everything was just like, how can we manipulate the most and like shove the most stuff onto like an ad and just like make it so it's like an overload of just like, gotta buy this, like with little like crazy like splash effects and stuff. And even in that time, like Germany and all those like Western Europe areas were doing like cool already like international type style and like Swiss, and I always liked that stuff.
Yeah, it's very pretty, of course, and it also makes a lot of sense because I guess the sort of like German Swiss way of doing it is a lot of like clean typography. Fonts Helvetica are used a lot. And also like big images that are often like photo manipulated sometimes to like send the message across. And it's like just a tiny little bit box of text sometimes. But I mean, it works. Of course, like if someone would hire me to do something like that, I would do it. But there's just not really a lot of room to play around with it. And I guess we'd have to sort of try to break out of this like very established kind of style of how to do advertising, for example, because all these big German agencies pretty much do the same thing. And I mean, it works. They get paid a lot for it. And also their clients get a huge amount of money from these ads. But like from a visual standpoint, I'm seeing these ads and I think like, oh, that's not really inspiring me, because they just kind of figured out how to do it right, which is cool, of course. And they just kind of never really deviated from it. There's just one way to do it, and I guess people tried to change it, but it wasn't that simple, it seems, because people still do it like they would have done it like in the 90s, for example.
Yeah, that's interesting, because that as much as that stuff's good, and like I was just saying, like I really enjoy it, you make a good point about it's like being comfortable, you know, like afraid to take a risk on something. And I always find it funny because I like that. And then I like the completely opposite, like punk, thrashed, like grunge, hardcore, all the handmade DIY like shit. Like there's no in between. Like I either want it to look like that or the exact opposite. And I feel like the gray area is always tough for me. And that's why I'm trying to, what I think a lot of people are doing now is blend those two areas together and have really solid type and take all those fundamentals, but then bring them over to a experimental world.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of like younger German agencies that like graduated from like all the good design schools in Germany, trying to push the whole branding thing a bit forward, like make it cleaner, but play around with it more in a way that makes sense, like not having it be too minimal and be a bit more playful and like colorful at times. And I personally really enjoy seeing that, especially seeing that younger people feel freer to experiment more and like push the boundaries of like what is given at the moment, like what is the way that people have always done it, and like, how can I change it up, how can I break out of it? And that's something I really enjoy seeing, and that honestly makes me very excited for like what my generation is going to do for like graphic design as a whole, because it's changing so much.
Yeah, it's exciting for sure. And I really like the sense of community I've felt. And I don't know if it's only because of me growing and trying more to engage with people, or it's also just like there's become a shift in the culture and stuff. But the past like few years, or maybe even like it could have been like COVID too, like maybe even that, like I feel so much more a sense of community in the design world than I ever did before. I think it's a combination of me trying more, me doing YouTube, me doing podcasts, posting more on Instagram, meeting more people, you know, my server on Discord, the Type House stuff, all that stuff. Like I think all together has just created like, I don't know, everything feels more connected, even though we're all disconnected in real life.
Yeah, like there have been like so many Discord servers popping up from like there's one for Neon. It's not that active, but I still think it's cool that they made one, like the Type House. That's been like a huge game changer for me, because there are just so many people that just throw whatever they made into that server, and it doesn't even go through all like the curating pages or something that pick like very carefully on what should be displayed on their page or not. But if it's like Neon Time or yours or the Type House, for example, you can just see like what people are actually doing, like what designers are like, what they're trying, what they're experimenting with. And that's really cool to see. And also that people aren't afraid to show how they do stuff and like support each other. Something I really like about like the whole Instagram design scene growing together on Discord through all of these servers. And I really appreciate that, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And it's well said. Like I'm trying to base some of my like ways of building out my own server in the way that the Type House is. I think that Elliot has done a very good job, and the mods and stuff over there, about curating an environment that's comforting, and you have people that are like really looked up to and respected, and you have people that are just starting and they're all treated with the same amount of respect, and everywhere in between, you know. And I think it's good because some of these like elitism, like you were saying, like there's a lot of that in design, and some of it feels like intimidating or like unsolicited feedback and like all the kind of negative things that come with the internet. I think that we're slowly, like, at least in my bubble, crumbling some of that stuff down and rebuilding it in like a more cool and positive way.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I love so much about being on Instagram, because there are just all these people doing their own thing. Like, sure, there are trends that people are, of course, trying to jump on. Like, that's just natural. Like, you see a trend you think is cool and you try it out for yourself, and you just kind of evolve it into your own thing. And that's just kind of cool to see how some of these trends, like these self-help graphics, for example, like how the morph into something entirely different just because someone thought, like, hey, it would be cool to do this and that with this thing. And that's just kind of what always evolves. And it's just really exciting for me to see it through all of these platforms, like the typos, for example. And yeah, I really appreciate that, because it's just an unfiltered view of what people are interested in at the moment and of what people just want to try out in design, which is awesome in my opinion.
Yeah. And like you're talking about seeing a lot of the people online and these different trends and stuff. What type of people that you know on either on Instagram or just anywhere in the world inspire you the most? Is there anyone that you look up to in that way for design?
Oh my God. I think a person I really looked up to when I was starting my poster project was definitely Travis Kane. Like, he did all these amazing, colorful posters on a daily basis. I think he only did it for like 240 days. And that was just insane to see how he managed to do all these crazy posters like daily. And I don't know, I guess my inspiration comes from all over the place. In the beginning, I was inspired by like Harry Vincent. I discovered him when I was researching for my portfolio, and his stuff blew my mind because he did like all the cool like branding stuff that was cool at the time, with like making triangle shaped stickers, and then he just put a bat on there, and that spoke to me obviously. And then I was just like, oh my God, like you can do that. So I really look up to Harry Vincent in that way, because he managed to sort of combine this like very clean type of design with something that's like very fun and like almost a bit gothic in a way, without making it look tacky or something. Like I really look up to him in that way.
That's cool. Yeah, I just talked on him with the podcast last weekend. So I'm
extremely excited to hear that.
Yeah, he was when by the time this comes out, you'll be able to listen to that. So go and check that out. But he was I've always looked up to him as well, and I thought he was a talented designer, and I've been talking to him a little bit more in the in this Twitter like group chat I'm in and stuff, and he's so nice and supportive, and like he seems very secretive. That we talked about it on the podcast, like no one really has, like, he doesn't have like photos of himself, and he's kind of just behind that red color, you know, that's like him. But talking to him, like, he had such a cool personality, and he was so nice, and like we talked for like, the podcast was long, but we even talked for like an hour after that. We were just hanging out, and like he's a cool dude, and I think that episode is going to be good, or was good, I guess, in past tense.
To that, like I was really freaking out because at the beginning of March he followed me back, and he's been liking a few of my posts and reels since then, and I'm screenshotting this every time because I can't believe that Harry Vincent knows that I exist. And that he apparently likes what I do. Like, that's so crazy, because like people like him and Elliot, for example, like I've admired for such a long time, and when I see that these people notice that someone fairly irrelevant as me exists, like that's absolutely great. But like I really appreciate it. I really appreciate meeting so many cool people, and I seem to give something back to them, so
yeah, it's cool.
I'm happy about that.
You deserve it. I think don't undersell yourself in that way that like, oh, I'm just me, but you're going to be there, especially like in a league with all these other people, I think. And
oh yeah,
I feel the same way. Like I fangirl over stuff when like there's people I've followed forever and I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me growing as a designer, the community, the podcasts. Every once in a while, you know, there's been 5 to 10 people that I've always followed and felt like they were unreachable, and then they'll just like follow me back one day. So obviously they didn't know who I was before, and then they just saw me somehow, and I'm just like, that feels good, you know. It feels, even though it doesn't matter, it feels like you're doing something right, you know, because you can get easily discouraged and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like Harry Vincent has been like a huge inspiration for me to sort of like push my style more into the direction where it's more, because his stuff is like so clean, but he also has like all these very gothic elements, like, I don't know, all these like medieval imagery. And he also used bats a lot in the past, and I just thought it was really cool to see like how he did that, because it's so clean and yet it's so dark, and it's just so awesome to see what he's doing and how his content evolved over the past few years. And I don't know, I just feel very valid by him liking what I do.
Yeah, that's good.
Like he's very cool. I really like his content, and honestly, I'm looking forward to the episode.
Yeah.
It's still weird to be like in the whole roster of people like Kel Lauren, and Elliot is a cool guy, and even Necox, who's also someone I look up to in a way.
Yeah.
So that's very awesome. I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep it diverse and keep it open. And if I like someone's work and I want them to talk to them, I think that you had something to say, you know. It doesn't really matter to me, like the status or however you want to like explain it, you know. Those people just happen to have followers, but we're all just designers and creatives and photographers and artists, whatever. Like we're all just people, and we all just can learn from each other and grow. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this stuff in the first place. Like I would like having these kind of conversations with people if they weren't recorded anyway, you know. So might as well, and other people can learn from it. I get messages like, I never knew, like, it's like not like this is supposed to be like a learning thing, like we're just talking, you know, but people will say, like, for example, like, I never knew that's how they did this. Like, that's so cool. Like I never felt like I could ask them, and you asked them what I wanted to know, and that feels cool, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Like I've been really enjoying the podcast, especially because there have been people that I don't know, for example. So I've just kind of dived into it, like not knowing these people, but then they would have like really cool things to say. And that's something I really appreciated. So shout out to you for having like such a great podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate it. The one last thing I want to ask you before we get out of here and we get into the Patreon Q&A stuff is, what are your goals and plans, like, or creative pursuits that you have planned, or have you even thought about it for after this daily poster thing?
Wow, I think I'm gonna take like a 1-week break from posting, but I'm just gonna try to look like for another project to do. Like I like working on projects because my Instagram is sort of like my whole big portfolio in a way, because I just like show my work there in the best way possible, I think.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm gonna decide on that very spontaneously. Like maybe I'm gonna continue to do posters, or maybe I'm gonna also jump on doing self-help graphics, even though I'm the least qualified person for that. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like cool to do more like music related stuff, to do, I don't know, like bootlegs or something. I don't know. I'm gonna see, but I'm definitely gonna continue to be on Instagram for a while.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see what you do, and everyone check out Caroline Dietl on Instagram, and we'll see what she does next. I'm sure it's going to be cool as well. And if you want to hear a little bit more, we're going to be doing a Q&A on the Patreon, so go check that out. Some little bit more deep dive stuff and some stuff you'll probably want to hear, and hopefully your question got chosen. And thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on, Caroline.
Appreciate being here.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.